Next, we introduce the plenary, the leadership of the youth in service learning. So, in this plenary, we have Iván Matulevicius from the Technical Professional School of the UBA, Peris, Waithera, Mwangi, and Herbert Dody from the University Mtaani in Kenya, Patricia, Kamene, and Michael Timonah, Tangaza University College, Kenya, and Kevin Battochi from América, Solidaria, Argentina. Moderator is Alejandro Gimelli from CLAYSS. So the moderator has the floor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I am not a moderator as such. I am not defined by that term, but I will try to be, let's say, an interviewer, passing the word to the panelists. I want that this plenary before lunch is a discussion. We want to have a discussion among students with diverse realities who are today leading experiences in service learning. So we want to, through their experiences, understand how service learning works in different contexts. Yesterday, I started listening to some of the projects, and I knew some of the projects previously because of what we are doing here in Argentina. So, rather than maybe technical data of projects, because we can access data and understand them in a more formal manner. But rather than that, we would like to collect experiences from students. What happens to students when they are educated through the lenses of this methodology? We know this is not just a methodology. We know that it goes beyond another way of doing things. It's a new way of understanding education, and this is how we want to understand their experiences. And taking advantage of this audience, we have students in the audience, and some students will come after lunch, but some came earlier from schools of the city, from the province of Buenos Aires as well. So it's great to see all these people, young people here. And it will be great that they can spread the words, that they can pass the word when they are back at school. Our youth and our teenagers can tell their teachers, we want to do what Michael did, what Herbert did, what Patricia and Peris did. I hope that they can collect everyone's experiences. So for the panelists, we have thought about questions to guide the discussion. So the first question for Herbert, if you can describe in a simple way, in what service learning projects are you working in the community?
Buenos días. ¿Cómo estás? I am very happy to be here today, and it's quite a privilege to be representing my university and Kenya at large and Africa.
Bueno, estoy muy contento de estar acá y es un placer para mí representar a mi universidad y representar a África en general.
So moving on to my project, I'd like us to go briefly through some slides so that we can be able to see.
Les voy a contar mi proyecto y para eso quiero compartir unas diapositivas para que lo puedan ver.
So after finishing my diploma level in education, we came together with 3 other alumni of our school in Tangaza University in our diploma program.
Bueno, una vez que terminé mi curso de diplomatura, me reuní con otros 3 exalumnos de mi universidad para organizar este proyecto.
And we formed a community-based organization called Simama Organization.
Y entonces formamos una organización basada en la comunidad que se llama Simama.
Simama is a community-based organization which uses sports for social transformation.
Y Simama es una organización basada en la comunidad que usa el deporte para la transformación social.
So what is Simama in brief? Simama is a Swahili word which means arise.
¿Qué significa Simama? Simama es una palabra en Swahili que significa surgir, elevarse.
And as briefly described prior, we came together and saw that there were a number of problems in our community, which is an informal settlement in Nairobi.
Y nosotros empezamos a identificar una serie de problemas en nuestra comunidad, que es un asentamiento informal en Nairobi.
And we wanted to address these problems by looking at the lives of the youth, children, and the women.
Y nosotros queríamos abordar estos problemas analizando la vida de los jóvenes, los niños y las niñas y las mujeres.
For instance, when focusing on the youths, there are a number of issues that were affecting the young people in our neighborhood. This included things like crime. Many young people were being killed because of crime. There was an issue of substance use, an issue of early pregnancies.
En términos de la juventud, nos concentramos en qué problemas estaban afectando a los jóvenes en esos lugares. Bueno, por un lado, la inseguridad. Muchos estaban muriendo víctimas de delitos. También el abuso de sustancias. Y otro problema eran los embarazos adolescentes.
So as coming together as young people who are alumni of a learning institution which has taught us about service learning, we were able to tailor some programs in our organization.
Entonces, como jóvenes exalumnos que habíamos estado trabajando en aprendizaje-servicio en nuestra universidad, pudimos adaptar algunos de esos proyectos a nuestra organización.
Which will be familiar to things that can attract the youth and as well use the opportunity to pass forth our service learning project to the community.
Que nos concentramos en cuestiones que fueran familiares, que resultaran familiares para los jóvenes, que les resultaran atractivas y que fuera una forma también de transmitir nuestro aprendizaje a la comunidad.
So some of these programs that we have is sports, and in sports we are able to bring together young people through football, and we are able to teach them about the dangers of crime and substance use after the regular matches that they have.
Por ejemplo, en el proyecto de deportes, este programa está basado en el fútbol. Reunimos a los jóvenes alrededor del fútbol y a través de eso les vamos enseñando sobre los peligros que afectan a la sociedad, como el delito, el abuso de sustancias, etc.
Apart from sports, we also have other programs because after having the youths in our program, just sports is not enough. There are also other aspects of their lives that we have to cover.
Pero bueno, el programa cubre otros aspectos porque vimos que el deporte no es suficiente, también hay que cubrir otras áreas.
And now this is where we have our advocacy program. In advocacy, we are able to teach them about HIV and AIDS, risk factors that expose them to HIV and AIDS, and as well other things like empowerment of our young girls.
Entonces, el otro programa que tenemos es el de incidencia. A través de este programa les enseñamos sobre los factores de riesgo de VIH-Sida, por ejemplo. Otro tema es el empoderamiento de las niñas.
Together also in our advocacy program, we teach them about governance because we want young people to take up positions in leadership.
A través de este programa de liderazgo, de incidencia, también le enseñamos a los estudiantes sobre la gobernanza, porque queremos que sean capaces de asumir posiciones de liderazgo en el futuro.
3, we have also partnered with other organizations in our area to offer to these young people trainings in information communication and technology and film to be able to give them skills that they can be able to monetize and make a living out of it.
También trabajamos con organizaciones socias para capacitar a los jóvenes en temas de tecnologías de la comunicación y la información para que adquieran estas habilidades y puedan monetizarlas en el futuro, que puedan ganarse la vida a partir de eso.
Last and not least, we also have a feeding program that caters for the youngest children in our program. Because during the weekdays when they are not in school, there is no food for them at homes.
Y por último, pero no menos importante, también tenemos un programa de alimentación que es para los miembros más jóvenes de la comunidad, porque los niños, cuando no están en la escuela, no tienen alimentos en sus casas.
So through fundraisings and sometimes even our own contributions as founders of the organizations, we are able to make up some money that we can be able to buy food items. We organize for someone to cook for the children and they have something to eat during the weekend.
Entonces, a través de actividades de recaudación de fondos o incluso fondos que proporcionamos nosotros mismos como fundadores, podemos juntar dinero para comprar comida para estos niños, conseguimos a alguien que les cocine para que tengan algo para comer durante los fines de semana.
So, what are some of the things that we are able to learn from the implementation of my program? One of them is that sometimes implementation of programs does not go according to what you have in the book.
¿Y qué aprendimos a través de la implementación de estos proyectos? Bueno, por un lado, vemos que muchas veces el proyecto no coincide con lo que dicen los libros.
It is very important to have an open mind where you can be able to adjust your implementation strategies.
Así que es muy importante tener una mente abierta para ir ajustando, adaptando las estrategias de implementación.
As well, we cannot be able to do everything by ourselves in the communities, and that is now where partnerships come in.
Además, nos damos cuenta de que no podemos hacer todo nosotros solos en la comunidad. Necesitamos aliarnos con otros.
Going to school was able to open up our minds to realize that we have the solutions to the problems in our own communities. So, yeah.
Entonces, el estudiar nos permitió abrirnos la mente y darnos cuenta de que podemos desarrollar nuestras propias soluciones para la comunidad.
So through our project in service learning, we are able to live the entire concept and to show that we do not just go to school to learn, but more importantly, we are learning so that we can be of service to our communities.
Así que a través de los proyectos de aprendizaje-servicio nos damos cuenta de que no solo es importante ir a la escuela para aprender, sino que también aprendemos a través del servicio que brindamos a la comunidad.
How is this important to all the young people in this room career-wise? For us, for example, through going to school and learning about the whole concept of service learning,
bueno, ¿y de qué manera esto es importante para todos los jóvenes que están acá presentes y cómo puede influir en sus carreras? Bueno, nosotros al estudiar y al participar en proyectos de aprendizaje-servicio,
we are able to understand our passions in working for our communities deeper, and we are able to do it professionally.
Podemos entender mejor los problemas y podemos trabajar con la comunidad en forma más profesional.
So it is very important for me to acknowledge that service learning is a pedagogy that is very important in works of community and entirely equips students or learners with the skills that are necessary.
Así que es muy importante para mí reconocer que el aprendizaje-servicio es una pedagogía muy importante para la comunidad, pero también para los estudiantes, porque les brinda las habilidades que son necesarias.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Herbert. Voy a formularle la misma pregunta a Kevin, que está
Thank you very much, Herbert. I'm gonna ask Kevin, who's at the end of the table. Kevin, what are you working on? Tell us about a project that you are participating. What are you doing for the community? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am very happy to be here. Currently, I am a volunteer at the Solidaria Environment Foundation. Last year, I participated in the Paraná project, where together with a colleague, Martina, who is in Mendoza province, we created an advocacy project with social impact. The project, Strong Crystals, has the objective of stopping school harassment and implement environmental health. Through this program, we learned different tools that were very helpful to build the project itself. And currently, we are working on mental health issues. We are posting material on Instagram, and that was very impactful. I participated in other youth initiatives as part of the foundation, working on other projects too. For instance, Capacidad Futuro, Future Capacity Project, that we are deploying this year. So in a few months, we are going to be disseminating content on Instagram. So, well, more or less, this is what I've been doing. And all in all, I've had the opportunity of growing my presence in the youth engagement space, something that is key to have the engagement and participation of the youth in different spaces, particularly in the emergence of new organizations or organizations in general that are listening to us, that can give us an opportunity to work in incidence and visibility. That is key. Thank you, Kevin. My question for Michael. In the same terms, Michael, would you like to share with us what you are working on right now?
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hola. My name is Michael Timonah.
Bueno, buenos días, yo soy Michael Timonah.
And my project is on communication and advocacy as tools towards implementation of service learning.
Bueno, mi proyecto es sobre comunicación e incidencia como herramientas hacia la implementación del aprendizaje-servicio.
And this is a practical example of service learning.
Este es un ejemplo práctico del aprendizaje-servicio.
Simply because I am taking a Bachelor of Arts in Social Communication.
Porque estoy cursando una licenciatura en comunicación social.
And communication is not all about media studies. Communication is wide in general.
Comunicación no es solo estudios de medios. Comunicación es algo muy amplio.
And to start us with, last year in 2022,
empezamos el año pasado, 2022.
Kenya, we had our general elections.
En Kenia tuvimos las elecciones generales el año pasado.
And in 2007, we got a bad name simply because there was violence in the nation.
En 2006, hubo muchos incendios en nuestro país.
So with this, we developed a strategy on how we are going to enhance peace in our nation by having the SMILE campaign.
En realidad estos incendios eran incendios intencionales, provocados como parte de esa campaña electoral, ¿no? Entonces desarrollamos estrategias para promover la paz.
And why the name SMILE? Simply because when you smile at someone, even if this person is angry, the person will smile back at you.
Esta campaña se llamaba Smiles, sonrisas. ¿Y por qué sonrisas? Porque nosotros creemos que si una persona está enojada, si uno le sonríe, esa persona responde con una sonrisa.
So we did this by partnering with communities and churches that are around us.
Entonces esto lo hicimos aliándonos con comunidades y con iglesias que están alrededor nuestro.
Our campaign was successful, but I'd like to show you what can happen when the students are not there, when the leaders themselves promote non-peaceful behaviors. And we're going to have that on the next slide.
Esta campaña fue exitosa, pero les voy a mostrar lo que pasa cuando los estudiantes no están ahí. Vamos a ver un video.
So the video that you're seeing here is a typical news piece in Kenya when we had the maandamano, basically a protest.
Bueno, este video es de un noticioso en Kenia, como en todos lados. Acá lo que están mostrando es una protesta.
And this protest was actually fired up by our political leaders. And now this is now to show you that we, the youth, we students, have a very big impact when we say no to violence.
Esta fue una protesta instigada por algunos líderes políticos, ¿no? Y acá vemos cómo nosotros los jóvenes jugamos un papel muy importante cuando le decimos que no a la violencia.
Now, our campaign for the peace was a success. However, when the political leaders influence, the impact of the youth cannot be had, simply because some politicians may fund this violence.
Bueno, pero como vimos, cuando los líderes políticos instigan esto, es muy difícil para los jóvenes lograr la paz.
We had ended our SMILE campaign. Immediately we realized that the elections were safe. And now this is a call to us as students and as young people to go back to the peace campaign that we had.
Gracias a la campaña Sonrisa se pudo llegar a las elecciones, se logró la paz, así que este es un llamado a los jóvenes para que sigan trabajando por la paz.
On to our next one. In Tangaza University College, we have to agree that we have a multicultural people from different backgrounds.
Vamos al siguiente proyecto, esto es de nuestra universidad, la de Tangaza. Nuestra universidad es una universidad multicultural. Tenemos estudiantes con diferentes antecedentes culturales.
This means that students come from needy backgrounds, and when they come to campus, they don't have food.
Esto quiere decir que muchos estudiantes vienen de lugares muy pobres, muy vulnerables, y cuando vienen a la universidad no tienen alimentos.
So what it does, students will come early in the morning, sign the signing sheet, and walk out of class and go to look for money, either through construction or work as watchmen.
Entonces, ¿esto qué hace? Que los estudiantes vengan temprano a la clase, se registran su asistencia, pero después se retiran porque tienen que buscar un trabajo y ganar dinero.
So with this, we thought that we are going to have to address the gap that's there for the needy students, and we came up with the food bank project, whereby we do resource mobilization, purchase foodstuffs, and have a register for our needy students to come and get food.
Entonces desarrollamos, para cerrar esta brecha, desarrollamos este proyecto del banco de alimentos. Logramos recursos para que los alumnos vengan a las clases y tengan ahí acceso a los alimentos.
So with this, we are sure that every student in Tangaza, whether you're from a needy background or from a well-off background, you always have stock of food in our office.
Entonces con esto nos aseguramos de que todos los estudiantes, ya sea que vengan de barrios pobres o más acomodados, siempre tenemos un stock de alimentos en la universidad.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, Tangaza has a diverse background whereby we have over 42 different nationalities in our campus.
Como dije antes, la Universidad de Tangaza es una universidad muy diversa. Tenemos más de 42 nacionalidades en nuestro campus.
Now, what this does, when people are away from home, they just get homesick.
¿Y qué es lo que hace esto? Que cuando los estudiantes están lejos de su casa, todos extrañan sus hogares.
So what we do as the students, we came up with an innovation of how students can feel at home. We write letters to embassies and request the local embassies that we have to support us in our cultural week, whereby they come, they dance for us, and they cook food from home such that someone can feel like they're home in Tangaza.
Entonces, para eso pensamos en algo muy innovador para hacer que todos los estudiantes se sintieran como en su casa. Entonces, nos conectamos con las embajadas que tenemos en el lugar para organizar esta semana cultural, donde se incluyen danzas de cada país, se cocinan alimentos típicos de cada país para que todos los estudiantes se sientan más en su casa.
Now, our cultural week has been a success to a point that in Tangaza University College, we got recognition from the judiciary. They were having an event in Tangaza, and they actually picked the student body for us to innovate and to run the program for them.
Y de hecho esta semana cultural fue muy exitosa, tanto es así que recibimos un reconocimiento del Poder Judicial y de hecho están adoptando también una iniciativa similar ellos mismos.
So with the images that we have above there, let me describe them. The image on the extreme left is of a food sample menu from the diverse communities that we have.
Les voy a ir describiendo las imágenes. Arriba a la izquierda tienen una muestra de un menú con toda la diversidad de menúes que ofrecemos.
The picture that's topmost is the Chief Justice of the nation coming to Tangaza to witness the cultural diversity that we have.
En la de arriba, ese es el presidente de la Corte Suprema de nuestro país que vino a la universidad a observar esta diversidad cultural que tenemos.
And the image that's there of the lady and gentleman seated were crowned as Mr. and Miss Judiciary, an initiative that we came up with.
Y a la derecha ven ese hombre y esa mujer, bueno, fueron elegidos Mr. y Miss Poder Judicial. Es una iniciativa que nosotros también desarrollamos.
Now, the reason why the image of those two people is important is simply because when we go to informal settlements, when we go to the grassroots, when you try to tell them on ways of solving justice, it might be difficult.
Y esto lo hicimos porque estando en asentamientos informales, cuando uno trata de enseñarle a la gente en esos lugares cómo funciona la justicia, cómo buscar justicia, puede ser muy difícil.
So this, when a young person speaks to a young person, it's easier to relate. But when there is intergenerational dialogue, sometimes the young people tend to shy away. And that's why we came up with Mr. and Miss Judiciary.
Y esto es porque cuando se habla de joven a joven, se sienten identificados y es más fácil comunicarse, pero cuando hay un diálogo intergeneracional, los jóvenes tienden a sentirse más tímidos y no se establece tan fácil esa comunicación. Por eso elegimos a Mr. y Miss Poder Judicial.
We talked about diversity, and indeed, Tangaza University College is the home of diversity in Kenya and East Africa.
Hablamos de diversidad, de hecho...
Yes. Yes.
Perdón, de discapacidad. Hablamos de discapacidad. Nosotros en la Universidad de Tangaza también celebramos el Día Mundial de la Discapacidad.
With this, we have partnered with an organization by the name Vice-Versa Global, and we are planning to have a festival that is aimed at celebrating the different disabilities that are there.
Entonces, para eso, bueno, celebramos ese Día Mundial de la Discapacidad para celebrar las diferentes capacidades que tenemos en nuestra universidad.
Last year, September, we had a case of a student who attempted to commit suicide.
El año pasado, en septiembre, uno de nuestros estudiantes intentó suicidarse.
So what we did, we came up with a peer counseling club and we offered training to them.
Entonces lo que hicimos fue crear esta especie de club terapéutico para ofrecerle terapia a estas personas.
The image at the top is at the students after receiving the training, and the image at the bottom is now we have a fully operational counseling room whereby students to student counseling sessions, making sure that everyone's mental health is in check.
Lo que ven arriba es una capacitación para este asesoramiento terapéutico entre pares y abajo... Y abajo ven que ya tenemos totalmente implementado este programa de acompañamiento terapéutico para ya cubrir la cuestión de la salud mental.
Now, in Tangaza University College, we are well connected with other universities around. And the image that you're seeing there is a poster of a candle lighting ceremony that we had of an accident that happened of one of the universities in Kenya.
Nosotros en la Universidad de Tangaza estamos muy conectados con otras universidades. Ahí ven, por ejemplo, el póster de una ceremonia de encendido de velas que hacemos con otras universidades.
The image that you see is of the bus, and the university is titled Mwangi University. We happen to have a network, and we are very close to them as student leaders. The image that is at the bottom is of the bus
Yes.
that had the accident, whereby nearly 70 students passed away. So in Solidarity, we held a candle lighting ceremony for them.
Por ejemplo, ahí abajo ven una foto de un autobús. En realidad es un autobús de otra universidad donde tuvo este accidente y fallecieron 70 estudiantes. Entonces, en memoria de ellos hicimos esta ceremonia de encendido de velas.
And this shows that service learning is a protagonist and needs to have interrelations with members of different communities, both internally and externally.
Y esto nos muestra que el aprendizaje servicio es el protagonista, pero tiene que estar comunicado y en relación con otras organizaciones y otros miembros, tanto interna como externamente.
Now, I'm going to be very fast. I don't want to waste time on this. And in Tangaza, we observed, not only in Tangaza, in Kenya, there's a gap. Students only enroll for a course, and with that one course, they really don't know what to do with their degree.
Y esto, bueno, se aplica a la Universidad de Tangaza o a todo Kenia, en realidad, que sucede que cuando los alumnos obtienen su título, después no saben qué hacer con ese título.
So we as students have engaged with our alumni network on how we are going to have mentorship sessions for them.
Entonces organizamos actividades de mentoría, de tutoría, entre los alumnos recién graduados con ex alumnos para ayudarse mutuamente.
Last but not least, in Tangaza, we observe that we have an active infirmary. However, when we go out for sporting events and activities, it's very hard for first aid to be taken care of.
Y por último, nosotros en Tangaza, en la universidad, contamos con una enfermería, pero cuando salimos de la universidad a eventos deportivos, por ejemplo, es muy difícil contar con esa asistencia de primeros auxilios.
So with this, we wrote to the Kenya Red Cross, and we opted to have our own Red Cross chapter in Tangaza University College.
Entonces, para responder a esto, nos comunicamos con la Cruz Roja de Kenia para tener dentro de la universidad un capítulo de la Cruz Roja.
So with this, we have our very own first aid team that offers first aid services both to students in school and when they go out for extracurricular activities.
Entonces, gracias a esto, ahora tenemos este equipo de primeros auxilios que asiste a los estudiantes, no solo dentro de la universidad, sino cuando salen de la universidad a actividades deportivas.
Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. La pregunta es a Iván. Ahora,
So
para que
now the
nos
question
cuentes,
for
Iván.
Iván. As we said at the very beginning, he comes from the Technical School of the University of Buenos Aires. So Iván, would you like to share what you are working on with your mates? Good morning, everybody. I am Iván Matulevicius. I am a student of the 5th year of the Technical School, Secondary School of the University of Buenos Aires. Last year, as a student, I participated in an interdisciplinary project to offer a solution to a problem that we have in our area, the contamination of a river stream, which is near the school. There is an environmental reserve in the area, and there is a polluted river stream, seriously polluted by plastic bottles that are fully recyclable, actually. So we decided to create a project to transform and to build devices to transform garbage into waste. So using our knowledge in electronics and mechanics and IT, we developed a device capable of reusing, recycling, and reutilizing. So through the project, we implemented actions, and thanks to maths, social, and other subjects, we could finally offer the solution to dispose of and recycle these bottles. In geometry, for instance, we learned to determine the volume of the bottles. Then in IT, we learned to create a 3D model for the device. And in social science, we understood the importance of recycling. Thank you. Thank you, Iván. Thank you. So now, Patricia, would you like to share with us? We were part of a panel before, and we listened to what you were doing as well. So you have the floor, Patricia.
Okay. Allow me to remove this. Hola. I feel like dancing, but I cannot, you know.
Tengo ganas de bailar, pero no puedo.
No music.
No hay música, por eso no puedo.
Okay, I am Patricia Kamene, and I'm totally blind. And my disability is my strength. They do say that behind every successful person and a successful thing, there's a very powerful story to be told or to be narrated to people.
Bueno, yo soy Patricia Kamene, soy totalmente ciega y esa de alguna manera es mi fortaleza también, porque debo contarles que detrás de toda historia de éxito hay una persona y algo muy poderoso también.
I am an activist, an advocate, a voice of the voiceless, advocating for the rights of people with disability.
Yo soy activista, trabajo por los derechos de las personas con discapacidades.
And I'm dealing with creation of awareness of people with disability, a fight against gender-based violence, and mentoring people with disability.
Y yo trabajo mucho para crear conciencia sobre estos temas, también sobre todo lo que tiene que ver con la violencia de género, lograr visibilidad sobre estos temas.
Why creation of awareness? Why fight against gender-based violence? Why mentoring people with disability? Let me tell you a story.
¿Por qué entonces luchar contra la violencia de género, luchar para crear conciencia sobre las discapacidades? Bueno, les voy a contar una historia.
In the year 2007, I slept and woke up, and the only thing I could able to see it's only darkness.
En 2007 yo un día me fui a dormir y al día siguiente me desperté y lo único que podía ver era oscuridad.
I'll never forget that year. It was the beginning of a year of full of discrimination, stigmatization, segregation, and also people taking advantage of my situation.
Nunca me voy a olvidar de esa época. Fue todo un año de discriminación, de estigmatización, de segregación y de gente que trataba de aprovecharse de esa situación.
I was taken to the hospital and, nothing was found medically. I was taken to, men of God. People can give me the key of my eyesight, but it was all impossible.
Bueno, me llevaron al hospital, me hicieron todo tipo de estudios, de atención médica, pero nadie pudo solucionar mi problema. Me decían que era imposible.
That time when people saw me, they saw a sign of witchcraft. They saw a sign of punishment from God. They saw I'm a curse.
Y además la gente cuando me veía pensaba que era una señal de brujería, que era un castigo de Dios, que era algo terrible.
I was denied education. I had to drop out of school for 3 good years.
Y bueno, tuve que dejar mis estudios, tuve que dejar la escuela durante 3 años.
People try to, okay, I've escaped from defilement several times, four times from different people. Okay. I've escaped from defilement or sexual harassment.
En 3 oportunidades tuve que escapar de casos de violencia sexual o acoso sexual.
From one of the person who wanted to take advantage of me sexually was a man of God.
Was a what?
Man of God, a pastor.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
De hecho, una de las personas que trató de aprovecharse de mí sexualmente era un hombre de Dios, un sacerdote.
The second person was a person close to me, a person that I expected to be at the front line to protect me, but he was the first person to want to take advantage of me.
La otra persona fue una persona muy cercana a mí, una persona que yo pensaba que me iba a proteger, pero de hecho quiso aprovecharse de mí.
I sat down and asked myself question, why all these challenges? And I came to realize because I have a disability and people think that I'm nobody, that's why they want to mess up, step on my emotions, step on my rights.
Entonces me senté y empecé a pensar, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué me estaban pasando todas estas cuestiones? Entonces me di cuenta que era porque todos pensaban que yo no era nadie y por eso todos querían abusar de mis derechos, pisar mis derechos.
My self-esteem was damaged.
Mi autoestima estaba destrozada,
I was very down, like I was not myself.
estaba muy bajoneada, muy deprimida, no era yo misma.
I hated myself for being a person with disability.
Me odiaba ser una persona con discapacidades.
I asked God so many questions that even himself, he has never given me an answer.
Le hice tantas preguntas a Dios, pero Él no podía darme ninguna respuesta.
One day, a good Samaritan came,
Y un día vino un buen samaritano.
and it was through a very hard situation because my mommy had been beaten up. She had been beaten up by her husband, that's my daddy.
Y un día muy duro, mi mamá había sido maltratada, golpeada por su marido, que de hecho era mi papá.
And she was sent away with me because my daddy claimed that he never gave birth to a blind child and I'm not his child.
Y de hecho, mi mamá y yo tuvimos que irnos, nos echaron, porque mi papá decía que él no iba a ser el padre de una niña ciega.
That is the point where God opened the doors and I went back to school.
Bueno, y eso, por un lado, tuvo otro resultado, porque así volví a la escuela.
Going back to school was an eye-opener because I met people with different disability.
Volver a la escuela fue algo que me abrió la cabeza realmente, porque ahí pude conocer otras personas con otras discapacidades.
And they were going through hard situation compared to mine.
Que estaban pasando por situaciones incluso más difíciles comparadas con la mía.
And I decided I have to be the voice of the voiceless.
Entonces yo ahí decidí que me iba a convertir en la voz de aquellos que no tienen voz.
I have to create awareness that disability is not a curse, disability is not a witchcraft, disability is not a punishment from God.
Y que tenía que crear conciencia de que la discapacidad no es una maldición, no es una brujería, no es un castigo de Dios.
And advocate for inclusivity.
Entonces empecé a hacer trabajo de incidencia por la inclusión.
Although getting education for a person with disability is not that easy because it's quite costly.
Es muy difícil trabajar en cuestiones de inclusión con personas con discapacidades.
And the well-wisher was able to pay for, my school fees for 1 year. And the well-wisher who took me to school was able to pay my school fee for 1 year.
La persona que me había ayudado, que había permitido que yo volviera a la escuela, solo pudo pagar mis estudios durante 1 año.
I had to come up with ways of continuing with my education because I realized that education is the key in the life of a person with disability.
Entonces yo me di cuenta de que tenía que encontrar la forma de seguir estudiando, porque la educación es la clave para una persona con discapacidad.
I thank God that my mommy has been there supporting me so much.
Yo agradezco a Dios de haber tenido a mi mamá conmigo, que me apoyó tanto.
And motivating me to go on, because many people with disability need somebody to speak on their behalf.
Y que me motivó a seguir adelante, porque las personas con discapacidades necesitan siempre a alguien que las apoye y que las motive.
Gender-based violence is real.
La violencia de género es algo real.
So many of us are being sexually abused, so many of us are being physically abused, and nothing is being done, and we don't have no ways of reporting or having the channel to speak out.
Tantos de nosotros hemos sido víctimas de violencia sexual, violencia física, y nadie hace nada al respecto, y ni siquiera sabemos cómo denunciar estas situaciones.
I remember a day my mommy almost died in the hands of her husband. She was being beaten up by her husband, and because she decided to help me.
Me acuerdo del día en que mi mamá casi se muere por los golpes que le estaba dando su esposo, y a ella lo único que le preocupaba era salvarme a mí.
I'd like to plead with you people. Let's join hands and fight against gender-based violence and to people with disability.
Entonces, eso hizo que yo empezara a trabajar fuertemente en lo que es violencia de género y las personas con discapacidad.
My view towards men was changed due to what men did to me, trying to sexually abuse me, and I felt all men are monsters, yet that's not true.
Esto también cambió mucho mi actitud hacia los hombres. Yo durante mucho tiempo, como había sido víctima de abuso sexual, yo pensaba que todos los hombres son monstruos, pero eso no es así.
Why do I love mentoring people with disability? Life is full of challenges. Life will never be easy, right?
La vida es muy complicada para todos, no solo para las personas con discapacidades, ¿no es cierto?
Changing a mentality of a person with disability towards whatever he or she is going through is the most important thing in my life.
Lo más importante en mi vida es cambiar la mentalidad de las personas con discapacidad.
Do you know what? I, as a person with disability, I go through hard situation, but I've decided to make all the challenges I go through my stepping stone.
Ustedes saben, yo pasé por muchísimas dificultades, pero yo decidí que esos desafíos, esas dificultades, iban a ser mis escalones para seguir avanzando.
Mentorship is all about changing how people view life, how people view their themselves, and trying to impact them to view life in a very positive angle and embrace everything they are going through.
Las actividades de mentoría son muy importantes para ayudar a las personas a ver la vida de otra manera, a ver sus problemas de otra manera, a ver la vida desde un ángulo positivo y ser capaces de atravesar todas las dificultades.
Service learning has motivated me. There is a day.
El aprendizaje de servicio es lo que me motivó para esto.
In Tangaza University College, we usually hold a book symposium whereby we are given book to read.
Nosotros en la Universidad de Tangaza, bueno, el aprendizaje de servicio, como dije, es lo que me dio fuerzas para esto. En la Universidad de Tangaza nosotros tenemos una especie de intercambio de libros, un club de libros donde nos dan libros para leer.
But people with disability never took part in this book symposium.
Pero las personas con discapacidades no participaban en este simposio de libros, como lo llamamos.
But this year, the head of service learning in Tangaza University insisted that we have to take part. And she rewarded us, which was so motivating. And, you know, we felt we belong.
Pero este año la persona que dirige el aprendizaje de servicio en la universidad insistió tanto en que participáramos en este simposio de libros y nos motivó tanto que logramos participar este año.
It passed a very important message to the whole school that disability, it's not the end. We have brains due because one of the person with disability emerged to become the winner, and compared with the result of the other people without physical disability, we were the best. And Dr. Judy Pete congratulated us. She felt very proud, you know.
Bueno, nosotros al participar en el simposio del libro sentíamos que pertenecíamos, ¿no?, a la universidad. Y bueno, este es un mensaje para todas las personas con discapacidad, que la discapacidad no es el fin. Como dijo también nuestra mentora Judith Pitt, todos somos parte de esto.
Before I forget,
Antes de que me olvide,
people with disability have been trafficked in different countries to become beggars and to traffic drugs.
en muchos países las personas con discapacidades las están usando como mulas, digamos, para traficar drogas.
It hurts me the most because these people are human beings, and when they are being used to beg in the streets, when they are being used to traffic drugs, their rights are being abused.
Y las personas con discapacidades son personas con derechos como todos los demás. Entonces, cuando se las usa para traficar drogas o se las ve mendigando en las calles, son personas con derechos que están siendo vulnerados.
What can we do to make a difference?
¿Qué podemos hacer para lograr un cambio?
It's my plea that you and I we come together, because Patricia alone cannot do it, and try to be there for the people with disability and try to make the world a better place for all of the people with disability.
Bueno, la idea es que ustedes y yo trabajemos juntos, porque Patricia no lo puede hacer solo, que todos logremos visibilidad para las personas con discapacidad, para hacer que el mundo sea un lugar mejor para todos.
Today, if you're going to take a photo with Patricia, come up with an idea. What can we do to make a difference? And we have to exchange contact, because I need people that we're going to work together, people that we're going to journey together to change this world and make sure that nobody will see a person with disability like a us.
Hoy, si quieren venir a sacarse una foto con Patricia, vengan, pero con una idea de qué podemos hacer juntos para cambiar el mundo. Intercambiemos contactos, así podemos trabajar en el futuro y ver qué podemos hacer para cambiar el mundo.
Gracias.
Genial.
Thank you, Patricia.
Patricia has just put forward a challenge, one to the many teachers of many schools and universities that are here present. I would like for this challenge to be taken on by some of the young people here. Please raise your hand if you are students from high schools. How many? I would tell Patricia that right here there's kind of 40 young people from high school who have raised their hands. Some of them will approach you to take a photo with you because you've inspired them today, but I am sure that because they will want to do something about your case or with you in your institutions. That's my challenge put forward to them. Before having Peris talk about her project, I'd like to ask a question to Kevin and ask him this. What about the main things you feel you've learned when developing the project you just talked about a while ago? In connection to the project I generated, my lesson was that my lesson learned was teamwork, solidarity, exchange, and intergenerational dialogue that is generated. This dialogue is very important because we are at all times being in touch, related with adults. So that is what I basically learned during this project. Intergenerational dialogue should be taken with importance. And now the question that goes to Iván. Would you please share some message with the teachers here present? What would you tell teachers present here in connection to how to teach their assignments, from their chairs? What would you tell them? Well, the message that I would share is that they should promote the issue of recycling. It's very important, especially for our planet and for the future, so that they can generate awareness on the fact that this is a problem of our world. They should be conscious about this, and this should help them train as future professionals. We had this lesson learned, the 3 R's, zero waste. This can help us a lot. Be aware of what the world is like today and how it will be like in the future. Be trained as professionals to generate creative solutions for the future, to find a solution to the problem. Thank you, Iván. 2 years ago, that was in October 21, a law was passed at the Congress promoting training in integral ecology. So that's a starting point where we can take these experiences that were taken already by the technical school at UBA. I will now give the floor to Peris. I was about to say Paris, but it's Peris. Would you please talk about your project?
Hola a todos. Mi nombre es Peris, Waithera. I am a student at Tangaza University at the Institute of Social Transformation.
Bueno, yo soy estudiante de la Universidad de Tangaza en transformación social. Ese es mi campo.
As a student of social transformation, we have a rule.
Bueno, como estudiantes de transformación social, nosotros tenemos una regla.
That before you transform the community, you have to transform yourself first.
Y la regla es que antes de transformar a la comunidad, uno primero tiene que transformarse a uno mismo.
Because after all, you cannot give what you don't have.
Porque después de todo uno no puede dar lo que uno no tiene.
If you're going to preach peace,
si uno quiere lograr la paz,
you have to practice peace yourself.
Uno tiene que ejercer y practicar la paz uno mismo.
At Tangaza University College, we have a branch, an outreach program called University Mtaani. It's a university in the slums.
Nosotros en la Universidad de Tangaza tenemos un programa de extensión que se llama en español la universidad en los barrios marginales o en las villas.
The university came to offer its services to the people around in the informal settlements of Nairobi.
Entonces la universidad sale a ofrecer servicios a los asentamientos informales de Nairobi.
The program is designed and executed with the aim of addressing issues in the community.
El programa entonces está diseñado con el objetivo de abordar esos problemas que se ven en la comunidad.
The community members are the protagonists.
Pero los miembros de la comunidad son los protagonistas.
We use the problem posing approach.
Nosotros usamos el abordaje basado en los problemas.
We let the community members to tell us what their problems are as opposed to the banking approach.
Nosotros hacemos que las personas de la comunidad nos digan cuáles son los problemas, en lugar de nosotros plantearles cuáles son los problemas que percibimos.
Now, I come from an area in Nairobi which was largely hit by terrorism.
Yo vengo de un área de Nairobi que fue muy afectada por el terrorismo.
Our youths were being taken to Somalia. They were being recruited to Somalia to fight.
Nuestros jóvenes estaban siendo reclutados para ir a pelear en Somalia.
By the terrorist group known as Al-Shabaab.
El grupo que los estaba reclutando es un grupo terrorista llamado Al-Shabaab.
So together with a group with alumni from Tangaza University and the ongoing students, we came up, we sat down and decided, no, we cannot have our youths being taken to Somalia. Why don't we provide an alternative to violence?
Entonces nos juntamos con estudiantes y con exalumnos de la universidad y nos sentamos a pensar cómo solucionar esto porque no podíamos permitir que nuestros jóvenes siguieran siguieran siendo llevados a Somalia. Entonces teníamos que pensar una alternativa a la violencia.
So we sat down and thought of ways in which we can empower the youth and the people in my community.
Entonces nos sentamos y pensamos en formas de empoderar a los jóvenes y a las personas de nuestra comunidad.
That is when we came up with a methodology known as inter-religious dialogue, which is also offered at Tangaza University.
Y así llegamos a diseñar un programa que es sobre diálogo interreligioso en la Universidad de Tangaza.
Inter-religious dialogues is not just talks, but interreligious dialogues is not, it is not a dialogue of talks, but a dialogue of action.
Este diálogo interreligioso no es un diálogo de conversaciones nada más, sino que es un diálogo de acciones.
So we started preaching the word of peace all over the sub-county.
Entonces empezamos a difundir, digamos, las palabras de paz en todo el condado, como lo llamamos.
We collaborated with various institutions in Kenya.
Colaboramos con distintas instituciones en Kenia.
We tried so hard to empower the youth, give them alternative to violence, and also we encouraged the ones who went to Somalia to come back.
Entonces hicimos mucho trabajo para empoderar a los jóvenes, para darles alternativas a la violencia, para que no fueran a Somalia, y a los que ya habían ido a Somalia tratamos de atraerlos a que volvieran.
That the system the terrorist group was using was just Islamic ideological interpretations.
El grupo terrorista que los estaba reclutando era del lado islámico, ¿no? Hacía interpretaciones islámicas.
So interreligious dialogue service learning to me is not only about tangible elements.
Para mí el aprendizaje servicio no es solamente sobre elementos tangibles,
but also the intangible elements like trauma healing, psychosocial support.
Sino también cuestiones intangibles como traumas mentales, apoyo psicosocial.
What is the impact of interreligious dialogue in my community?
¿Y cuál fue el impacto de este diálogo interreligioso en mi comunidad?
It has fostered solidarity.
Bueno, promovió la solidaridad.
It has united people in my community.
Unió a las personas en mi comunidad.
Today in my community, we no longer have radicalization.
Ahora en mi comunidad ya no tenemos radicalización.
But rather radical collaboration.
Lo que tenemos es una colaboración radical.
And today in Argentina,
y hoy en Argentina,
I am willing to extend the radical collaboration with Peru, Chile, Uruguay,
quiero extender
and Taiwan.
Esa colaboración radical con Argentina, Perú, Chile, Taiwán.
I had the girl from Ukraine talk about a non-violent world.
Ayer escuchamos a nuestra colega de Ucrania hablar de un mundo sin violencia.
And I'm willing to join her to spread the word of peace to create a non-violent world.
Así que yo quiero unirme a ella, a esta difusión de la paz para lograr un mundo sin violencia.
Together, let's join hands.
Juntos, tomémonos de las manos, unamos las manos.
Fight against violence.
luchemos en contra de la violencia.
as it outlines the Sustainable Development Goal number 16, which says peaceful institutions and which talks about peaceful institutions.
Ujú. Y juntos luchemos, especialmente hablando de los ODS por el ODS 16, que habla de instituciones pacíficas.
So I liken my institution, Tangaza University College, to the pottery making.
Nosotros en nuestra universidad tenemos clases de artesanías también.
Before we joined Tangaza University, all of us here,
Antes de nosotros unirnos a la Universidad de Tangaza,
we were like clay, wet clay.
trabajábamos mucho con la arcilla.
We had to go through the kiln.
Entonces teníamos que usar el horno, ¿no?
Tangaza University is the kiln,
Bueno, la Universidad de Tangaza es ese horno.
in the sense that through the foundation laid by our very, very dedicated lecturers,
Esto quiere decir que a través de esos cimientos que crearon nuestros educadores tan dedicados,
they molded us,
ellos nos fueron moldeando,
we were polished,
nos fueron puliendo.
and that's the reason as to why we are able to stand in this podium as polished people from Tangaza University through service learning.
Y por eso podemos estar ahora aquí en este escenario, en este podio, como personas pulidas a través del aprendizaje-servicio, a través de ese torno.
Now, I like to liken, I identify myself with the words of Maya Angelou, an American civil rights activist, who said,
Yo me identifico mucho con las palabras de una activista de derechos civiles, Maya Angelou,
I go forth alone
que dice, yo avanzo sola,
and stand as 10,000.
pero represento a 10.000.
What does that mean?
¿Qué quiere decir eso?
I came to Argentina, although in the company of my colleagues and my DVC and my lecturers,
Yo vine a Argentina con mis compañeros, mis compañeras, con algunos profesores,
but in essence, I came alone
pero yo vine sola fundamentalmente.
through the interaction that I'm getting from all of you.
Y a través de la interacción que logro con todos ustedes,
I stand as 10,000 because the knowledge that I've gained from this conference, I will dispense it to my community to make it a better place.
yo ahora valgo como 10.000, porque a través de todo lo que aprendo en esta comunidad, esto lo voy a compartir en mi comunidad, voy a difundir allí la palabra.
And as a student, it inspires me to be used as a vessel of social transformation.
Y como estudiante es muy importante que a mí me usen como vehículo de transformación social.
This is an example of interreligious forum in my community. The one there is a video of the Somali ethnic group. We always come together during the World International Peace Day to preach peace. And here is the video of a cultural song by the Somali people.
Este es un ejemplo, un video del foro interreligioso durante el Día Internacional de la Paz. Ahí mostramos unas danzas culturales somalíes. La idea es representar la paz.
Okay, we seem to have some technical hitches. We can move on to the next one, which is, these are different religions that come together in our community to bring social cohesion, to live with one another as one family. We preach, at Interreligious Dialogue, we preach religious tolerance.
Bueno, acá tenemos otro ejemplo, el otro no lo pudimos ver por una dificultad técnica. Nosotros reunimos a diferentes religiones. La idea es lograr una cohesión social, que todos seamos una familia. Algo muy importante que enseñamos en la universidad es la tolerancia religiosa.
We also preach tolerance of diversity.
También predicamos la tolerancia por la diversidad.
So this is one of the people who practices the Hindu religion. He is teaching us how we can learn. He's teaching us about the Hindu religion.
Bueno, acá vemos una persona que nos está enseñando sobre su religión, una religión hindú, nos está enseñando cómo practicarla.
In interreligious dialogue, we do not do comparative dialogue.
En el diálogo interreligioso no hacemos un diálogo comparativo,
But rather ask questions to be informed about other people's religion.
sino que hacemos preguntas para estar informados sobre las religiones de otras personas.
So today, I'm so happy to be here during in this conference at Argentina because I see diversity as there's unity in diversity.
Y hoy estoy muy contenta de estar aquí en Argentina porque aquí veo que hay mucha diversidad y hay unidad en la diversidad.
That is the much that I have. Muchas gracias, merci beaucoup, and asante sana.
Muchas gracias, Peris.
Thank you so much. I would like to ask from each one of you to share a brief message with students. We were just telling teachers how did we expect to learn, but I would like for us those that are being trained now, or who are being educated now, I liked the phrase about we cannot give whatever we do not have. And in this regard, there's a fundamental sense in training, in educating people. Whatever we can do to change the world means that we need to be prepared first off. When we talk about service learning, we say we would like to teach people how to catch fish rather than preparing fish and putting them on their table. But then we have to learn how to catch fish ourselves. And a strong message we can communicate goes along those lines. So you are those that are in the perfect position to talk about this with your colleagues who are present here, so that you can convey and transmit that which has impacted you, that which has transformed you after having participated in experiences like this. This would be really nice if you could share with your colleagues. Did you want to take the floor, Kevin? Well, from my own place, I invite young people to take part in these spaces that give us visibility. Because even when the youth are the future, they also are the present. That's my own personal opinion. And we need to find how to change the problems that come up today in connection to the setting or the context. It would be great to have them involved in causes because we are part and parcel of society. So you are all more than invited to take part in the number of programs that were presented today. Please go for it. Just like my colleague, I would like to encourage students to take part in this so that they can gain learning. Learning is the most important thing, not just for today, but for the future, to give importance to these issues that may not be given that much importance. People sometimes don't give it any second thought to it because they don't know about it. They should give importance to recycling. They should give importance to the need of turning materials into something else, to assign to materials a new life cycle, and so that people can be trained as professionals in doing that, so that they can offer more options in the future, so that the planet is sustainable, and so that development is sustainable. Thank you.
So for me, I'm going to make it very realistic. Learning does not only come from lecturers or educators alone. I believe it's high time that we can actually have dialogue on how learning spaces can be interactive.
Bueno, yo quiero ser realista y decir que el aprendizaje no se obtiene solamente de una clase o escuchando a los profesores. Es hora de que logremos un verdadero diálogo, de tener un aprendizaje mucho más interactivo.
Simply because interactive learning, students come from home with fresh information that can impact a whole classroom.
Y a través de este aprendizaje interactivo, los alumnos traen de sus casas información que puede enriquecer este diálogo en el aula.
And last but not least, as much as I'm encouraging interactive learning, learning should also be experiential, not only through books. It's high time that educators and stakeholders in education to develop framework on how some examinations can be practical, not only sitting exams that are written, but we need now to start having a dialogue on how we can have experiential learning and assessment through practicality. Thank you very much.
Además de este aprendizaje interactivo, creo que es muy importante lograr un aprendizaje experiencial, que no todo se base en los libros. Es hora de que encontremos una forma de que los exámenes también, las evaluaciones, sean prácticas en lugar del alumno sentado escribiendo un examen, que sea experiencial.
Okay, for myself, I would like to just air out to my fellow students that we are in a current point in time.
Bueno, y finalmente yo quiero expresarle a mis compañeros y compañeras estudiantes que estamos en un momento, un punto en el tiempo
where our society, our entire human society, calls for us to be engaged in service.
en que toda la sociedad nos está convocando a todos nosotros para que seamos activos en la sociedad, que estemos comprometidos en la sociedad.
So let us get out of class, go to our communities and serve.
Así que salgamos de las aulas, vayamos a las comunidades y brindemos servicio.
Look at the Ukrainian situation that was presented to us over here. The young lady presented to us that everyone is going to the front line, including runway models. They are taking up arms and going to serve their community.
Fíjense el caso de ayer que nos compartió la colega de Ucrania, que contaba que todos los jóvenes están yendo a la primera línea, al frente, en la lucha. Incluso modelos están tomando las armas para ir a luchar.
When we started the community organization, we did not know where to start. We did not have the money, but we started.
Cuando nosotros empezamos nuestra organización comunitaria no sabíamos por dónde empezar, no teníamos el dinero, pero empezamos igual.
Everyone is important in community. Thank you.
Todos son importantes en la comunidad. Gracias.
Okay. Okay. For me. Okay.
It's okay.
I'd like to tell my fellow students and everyone, I know life can be challenging sometimes, but there's no room of giving up.
Quiero decirle a los estudiantes y a todos en general que la vida puede ser muy difícil a veces, pero no hay que bajar los brazos.
There's a saying that says, if you want to go first, go alone. If you want to go far, go as a group.
Como dice el dicho, ¿no? Si uno quiere llegar primero, vayan solos, pero si uno quiere llegar lejos, vayan en grupo.
But when it comes to so many projects, I believe in when you want to go first, go with call a friend, and if you want to go far, also walk with a person.
Pero hablando de estos proyectos, si uno quiere llegar primero, también llame a un amigo. Y si quiere llegar lejos, llame a un socio.
This applies to me because I cannot work alone.
No podemos trabajar solos.
And also love working with friends or people.
Además me encanta trabajar con amigos, con personas.
Other thing is, if you want to impact somebody else's life or if you want to influence change in the society,
además, si uno quiere marcar un impacto o quiere influir en un cambio en la sociedad,
You must have a story.
Hay que tener una historia.
And it's not easy.
Y no es fácil.
I've gone through ups and downs, but I've never given up.
Yo tuve mis altos, mis bajos, pero nunca me di por vencida.
I'm able to capture your attention because of my story.
Y puedo llamar la atención por mi historia.
Creativity matters also.
La creatividad también es importante.
And be a go-getter. Go for what you want.
Así que vayan atrás de lo que quieren.
And never give up.
Nunca bajen los brazos.
Ah, gracias.
Sí, Mers. Gracias. Now, I'd like to tell the younger students that service learning is the best innovation that there has been.
Bueno, quiero decirle a los estudiantes jóvenes que el aprendizaje de servicio es la mejor innovación que existe.
Because you can be learned, but not educated.
Porque uno puede aprender, pero eso no quiere decir que uno esté siendo educado.
Learning happens within the four walls of your classrooms.
El aprendizaje se produce dentro de las 4 paredes del aula.
But education entails you walking out of your classrooms, engaging with your community, find out the problems that they have, work on development matters, be it politically, be it socially, economically.
Educarse, uno se educa, digamos, uno aprende en el aula, pero para educarse hay que salir del aula, hay que ir a la comunidad, ver cuáles son los problemas, problemas de desarrollo a nivel político, social, económico, lo que fuera.
It prepares you to be leaders of tomorrow as you're going to be empathetic.
Esto los prepara a ustedes para ser líderes del futuro, a tener empatía.
Tolerate other people,
a tolerar a otras personas,
respect other people,
respetar a otras personas,
and make the world a better place.
Hacer del mundo un lugar mejor.
Today, as we are here from Africa,
hoy, como escuchamos acá de los colegas de África,
come and ask us a question about how we try to transform our communities, and we will compare notes. You'll give us how you will tell us how you do here in Argentina, Chile, Uruguay or Taiwan.
Acérquense a nosotros, a los colegas de África, para aprender cómo tratamos nosotros de transformar nuestras comunidades y para que ustedes nos cuenten también cómo están tratando de transformar sus comunidades en Argentina, en Chile, en Uruguay, en Taiwán.
Gracias.
In concluding, I should say that conclusions have just been expressed very remarkably and very well, so there's not much more to add. I just would like to say that last time in the Ibero-American network meeting at the White Room in the Ministry of Education, we had a meeting and we presented the experience of leadership, an initiative that from CLAYSS we put forward in order to put students and teachers in contact, those who are developing educational service learning experiences in different countries, in different continents and in different areas, so that they can think together about solutions, common solutions to local problems, but from a global perspective. That is to say, thinking together, no matter the context where we might be, because evidently so, contexts where we are provide us an immense wealth of situations to help others think about the solution to their own problems. So we invite those who are interested along the lines of these challenges that we have launched here, so that you write to info@clays.org.ar if you are interested in coming into contact with other organizations to think about projects together. Is it easy? Sometimes it is not that easy, but sometimes it is better if you walk hand in hand with the neighboring school, the one in the neighborhood. But what we suggest here is a little bit more ambitious. We have experience having carried out this type of initiatives, and we fared really well. So we want to replicate them and multiply them, not just being good citizens in our countries, being protagonists of change in our countries, but also, as was very well stated by Iván, to be protagonists of change and have a different view of the planet where we live in. There might be lots of differences, as Kennedy would say, but there's lots of things in common. We want the same thing for our children. We want the same thing for our future, and we take in and breathe out the same air. So from that point of view, we invite you from CLAYSS in order to generate this type of leadership ideas. I thank each one of you, Peris, Patricia, Herbert, Michael, Iván, and Kevin. Thank you so much. For us, teachers in this room, every day we come across colleagues like you, and you are a source of inspiration, and you are a renewed vocation. I don't know where we got our vocation, our call from, but we wake up every morning happy, knowing that we are doing something that will somehow or other change the society and the world in which we live. Thank you all, and now we will have some